Hello everyone, my name is Elizabeth and I just wanted to share a few things with you guys about why I chose to have a natural birth outside of a hospital, my prenatal care, my labor and delivery, and my postpartum care. So first things first, I decided to have a birth outside of a hospital because at first, like about halfway through my pregnancy, I decided to do a natural birth. For the first 20 weeks of my pregnancy, I was seeing a regular doctor, and I was just kind of always dissatisfied with how impersonal the care was. I just always felt like I was another pregnant lady on the doctor's roster. And don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against the doctor. I thought she was wonderful, but I just felt like I didn't have a connection to her. Like she was just gonna show up at my birth and, follow doctor's orders, do whatever she says, and get this kid out of her. It wasn't like I was involved in the process. Like I just felt like it wasn't very personal. So my friend was pregnant at the same time as me, and she told me that she was having a home birth with a midwife, and I was very interested in it because I never had any experience with it or ever heard anything about it. So she shared a lot of materials and resources with me, so that's when I started looking into it. And lo and behold, the birthing center was about 8 minutes from my house, and we went for a tour and we never looked back. Once I met Sandy and Galena, I just felt empowered. I felt like I understood birth on a whole nother level. I understood what my body was capable of. Once we started going to their classes, I understood the stages of labor. Sandy's an expert on breastfeeding. I just felt like I was empowered and I knew that I could do it, and it really made a difference in my pregnancy. And I just felt like when I met them, or when I started doing this natural birth research and all things like that, that I really realized what I was capable of as a woman. And the care itself with Sandy and Galena is so personal that you really feel like you're going to visit your friends after a long day at work and they're just checking on you and your baby. And I mean that these women care about every single detail of your pregnancy. I remember complaining to Galena one time about my thighs rubbing together because I was chafing, and she's like, "Oh, don't worry." She told me the oil to get and everything, and I mean, it was something so small, but it made such a big difference for me being pregnant at the time. It helped me be more comfortable, and that's just a prime example of how they care about every single detail. And I loved how involved they made my husband. Like at every visit, either Sandy or Galena would let my husband listen to the baby's heartbeat and talk to him too, and see like, how are you doing, Dad? Like they really involved everyone. And I don't know, it's just like they really care about you as a whole, not just delivering the baby on this date and that's the end of the story. It's just how can they provide the best care for you as a pregnant woman, and how can they be there to support you emotionally, mentally, physically, everything. My actual birth was amazing. I mean, Sandy and Galena were there every step of the way. When my water broke, I contacted them. We updated them. Galena told me when to meet her at the birthing center, and we went from there. And one of my favorite things that Galena did, which looking back on it now, I didn't even realize it in the moment because I was, in the middle of contractions and all that. But I'm so grateful that she did, because along the way she talked a lot about, don't worry if you're not dilating because your body's doing other things. Your cervix is thinning out, there's babies going down, other things are happening, so if you don't dilate right away, don't be discouraged. So when we went to the birthing center at midnight, she checked me and she didn't say anything. She just said, "Okay, go get ready, and I'm gonna prep the room for you, go change your clothes, and we're gonna have this baby soon." And that was enough for me. I didn't even care. I didn't even realize she didn't say that I was dilated, not dilated, anything like that. So later on, when I reflected and I thought about it, and I asked her probably like weeks later, I was like, "Hey, remember when I came in, you didn't say if I was dilated or not?" At that point, I was only 2 centimeters dilated. And I know if she would have told me that I was only 2 centimeters dilated, my pregnant lady heart would have been crushed. And it would have thrown me way out of whack. But thank God she didn't, because only 3 hours later, I was completely dilated. My baby was here. So it didn't matter that I wasn't dilated. But that's just how much that she cares. There was no pressure on me. There was no like, oh, you need to dilate, you're not dilating, we're gonna get you on this medicine, we're gonna speed up your labor, we're gonna, you know, now you need to do a emergency C-section, your baby in the heart rate. There was none of that. It was just like, okay, let me check you. Okay, go change your clothes. We're gonna have this baby. And 3 hours later, only 3 hours later, my baby was here, and I was only in labor for a total of 6 hours, and I labored 3 hours at home and 3 hours at the birthing center. And I mean, Sandy, Galena, and Renata were angels, heaven on earth. They were not intrusive in my labor. They came in, they encouraged me, they saw me getting into different positions. I remember at one point I was on my knees. Sandy brought me a yoga mat. Renata was there giving me the little sugar pills. And they would just pop in every now and then. It was so peaceful. Galena would check the baby. She would tell me, you're doing great. You know, drink some water, have a little snack. And it was truly, it was beautiful. I have a baby in the water. My husband was there in the water with me. Sandy and Galena were there pushing me on, you know, telling me to take deep breaths. And every time I turned around, Renata was there with my water. It was really the experience of a lifetime. It was beautiful. And afterwards, and I delivered my placenta, and my baby stayed attached to the placenta, and then Galena sewed me up real quick. It wasn't anything major afterwards, so I had to go to the hospital because I lost a lot of blood. But long story short, Sandy and Galena went to the hospital with me. They stayed there with me for hours. They just always go above and beyond. I mean, you can't really put it into words well enough. I just feel like anything that you say won't be enough. I can't stress to you how amazing they are, how they care for each and every part of you, your everything, your mind, your body, your soul. Like, they just want you to be okay. They want you to know that you can do it, and you're gonna do it, and you're gonna be fine. You're gonna come out victorious. I mean, looking back, I would have never thought I was capable of a natural birth. I mean, I'm the one that cries when I stub my toe too hard, and I had a baby in 6 hours, no medicine, nothing. And honestly, if it wasn't for Sandy and Galena and Renata, like, I don't think I could have done it, you know? Like, they really showed me to believe in myself, that I was capable of it, and I'm so proud that I got to experience it with them. My postpartum care was phenomenal. Galena came to my house the day after. She checked on the baby, she checked on me, she told me, you know, to make sure which foods I was eating, stay in bed, rest a little while longer. I had a little bit of longer of a recovery, but she was there. I mean, I was texting her for everything. The baby's not breastfeeding, sending her pictures of the baby, and what do I do, texting her, calling her. Every single time she was there, and it was without a doubt the most comforting thing, knowing that her or Galena or Sandy was just like a phone call, a text message away, because in those first days, you know, new mom, no sleep, you need help, and they were there. It wasn't like, oh, you had the baby, okay, get out, next. No. And I mean, still to this day I communicate with them, because they really changed my life forever. They showed me that I was capable of way more than I ever thought I was. And if you're considering a home birth, if you want to experience what it's like, a natural birth, a home birth, birthing center, I say go for it. You can do it. You're awesome. And with Sandy and Galena by your side, those ladies will make sure that you're taken care of.